Hello, everybody. It's Texas De La Rosa. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be here today because I have wanted to do this video for a hot little minute, but it's been crazy because it's the holiday season right now. And man, I just got off work and I'm doing some holiday shopping, and I had to wait in all these crazy lines at a to get out of Academy, and then I went to Bath and Body Works, and oh man, this is crazy. This video is going to be out right at Christmas, so I won't be giving any secrets away of what I got for people, so we're good to go there. But I wanted to do this video because I feel like this is something that needs to be said. I had some stuff that I thought was pretty interesting to go over, and I wanted to talk about that today because I feel like our industry, especially that we've got, and our industry meaning permanent makeup, cosmetic tattooing, that sort of stuff. We've got a lot of groups, right? We've got a lot of groups in. I mean, this is a group that you're in right now, Cosmetic Tattoo Professionals. If you're watching that, you're in my CTP group. You're in my group. And there's so many groups out there, and there's so much information now being given. And it's almost to the point where I feel like it's almost like there's too much information being given, meaning that there are so many people that are giving just stuff freely, so freely to people that don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand that what's happening in their situation may not be so good. So again, I feel like this video had to be said, and I'm going to talk about it, and I know it's going to rub some of you maybe the wrong way, and I hope it doesn't, but it is something that I feel like needs to be said. And that is, these groups, we've got to start being careful about what we're saying to these newer artists or people that don't know what they're doing. I actually had a situation, I'm actually trying to find that. There was a person who got mad at me because she said I was being rude because I told someone, I'm going to find exactly what I said here. The person posted about wanting to know how to do a lip correction. Okay, guys, here's my biggest thing, and I've said this from the beginning, and I say this to all people, and I'll read this to what I said so that you know exactly what I said in a post and what caused such a stir with this person. And this person was, her name was M something aesthetics. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. And so they were asking again, what to do with, the slip correction and whatever. And I said, in quote, I always say, if you have to ask the question, then you aren't ready for the service. Doing a correction is not the same as doing a normal service. You need to understand your work and the work that is done before. If you don't make the proper call on what to do, you can make this worse for the client. This is tattooing, not makeup. I would refer to some more experienced artist. And then this person said, she said, I have many qualifications on SPMU, which, and also this is not the person that was actually asking the question. So this person decided to chime in and said, and microblading from Brazil, UK, and Germany. I can tell you that to do a correction, you may need a course to focus on it because most of the courses just teach the superficial. So give a break to the girl instead of telling her off. We don't have to know everything. That's why we are in these groups, to help each other. What are you here for? Tell people that they are not ready. If you don't want help, don't waste your time commenting something bad. This is for blah, 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 and this is for everybody. And then, because I had a lot of people that liked that comment, and then she goes, and this is for everybody supporting your message. And I said, okay, first off, good for you. You got microblading in 5 different countries. Okay. Now, I don't know this person. They don't know me, obviously. They don't know, who they were talking to and what was going on in the world. And I don't give bad advice. I give solid advice. And if you're asking how to correct something, then you're not ready. That is just how this goes, guys. I promise you, I see it across so many of these boards, so many of these groups that people are like, how do I do color correction? And they're like, oh yeah, just use Orange Crush, use neutralizer, use ungray, use this, blah, blah, blah. And then that artist is getting 15 different things to do, and then they don't know what to do, and then they don't know, well, which one should I use on this person? And then they're like, use a 1RL, use a 3RL, use a 5 shader, use a 15 shader, use a mag, use this. And so then it's like, well, don't use the 3mm stroke, use a 4mm stroke, use a 2.5, use a 2.1, use a 1.7. Oh, they're melanin rich. They need 6 weeks to heal. Oh, no, they need 12 weeks to heal. Do you see where I'm going, guys? There are so many people that will pop on and start giving you all this stuff. We are making a big mess for this person. First off, I say, if you're going to ask a question about how to do something, then you shouldn't be doing it, and you need to go back to your educator. If you took a course in how to do a removal, how to do a color correction, a color lifting, whatever they call them out there. There's lots of words out there that you're seeing all these people using nowadays. Color correction, lifting, neutralizing, all these things. Whatever. If you went to a school and you went to an academy that was reputable, they should have told you what to do, and you should know what to do. You should know how to attack that. And I think that sometimes the smarter thing is to go back to that educator and ask them what they would do. Not asking a group of people that maybe started microblading 3 days ago. Because I can have 15 certifications if I go to some conference and I can be a pro in 10 hours. That's crazy. So anyways, I said, I gave solid advice, not telling anyone off. You don't know me at all. I said, so have a good day. Google me and then come back. This is the best advice she could get, not making a bad situation worse. If she does what people suggest and it turns out badly, this is on her. And now the client has more of an issue. Sometimes we need to be honest. That's it, guys. I think that sometimes it's kind of a little bit of a toxic positivity we have now, because I know that we're in these groups to empower each other and help each other get good advice, get good information so that we can do better, by our clients and grow in our industry. But the problem that I'm seeing now with a lot of these groups is that there is so much of this kumbaya, sisterhood and blah, blah, blah. And I got it, sis, trust the process. And I saw a post the other day that blew my mind. This gal got mad about her client being upset with her brows, and all these people were, but without even seeing a picture, were all saying, oh, just tell her to trust the process. It's going to happen. They're going to be dark. They're going to be this and blah, blah. And she was like, oh my gosh, right. Thank you so much. And I couldn't believe she was upset with them and da, da, da. And I asked, how about show us some pics? Show us some pics. See what happened there. Because I'd love to see what this client is seeing. And then we can see, oh, does she just maybe need to be walked off the cliff a little bit and kind of said, hey girl, they're going to be dark, but you're going to be just fine. Or were they a hot mess? Guys, they were a hot mess. They were not good. And this person was saying, and I'm not being ugly at all, because guys, I've made some mistakes. I talk about all my mistakes. Trust me, I have made things happen badly. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But these brows were not great. And she said that she did very natural work, and these were very big on an older client, a more mature client. And when you work on a mature client that has a lot of like blondish, silvery hair, that doesn't always mean stay in that hair. It sometimes means maybe making things smaller. For example, my boss, coworker, and business partner, I did her brows, and I actually told her I wanted to make them smaller because she had a lot of brow, and I didn't want them to overtake her face. I wanted them to be aesthetically better than what they were naturally, meaning sometimes we got to talk about that. So not making them so big. I didn't want her to look like she had these big, huge brows on her face. I wanted them just to look beautifully manicured and nice and kind of untouched, as it were. She didn't want to do a lot of makeup. So, going back to that, when I looked at that, I didn't say anything else, and I just didn't, because I saw all of the people trying to say that she was doing great and this and that. And guys, I think that they were lying to her. That is not the type of situation that you need to be in, and we've all been in a situation where we've messed up. And I personally think that this person messed up. I think they were too big. I think they were too big. They were too dark, and the shape was really not great. And I get why the client was probably going home and freaking out. Someone probably told her that she looked insane, because these big brows were coming at this poor light-skinned lady with light hair, and now she's got these big huge brows on her face, and I honestly think she needs removal. And and I kept seeing all these people just kind of rooting her on. And I'm like, does anyone see what I see? Because I don't see that. I don't see this as being, oh, she just needs to trust the process. I see a mayday situation like she should probably go get some emergency removal right now. Because if the client is that upset, and then looking at the picture, I was kind of shook. So I was like, anyways, so that's how I feel, guys. And again, it's nothing ugly because again, I talk about all my fails in the industry because I have made a lot of questionable choices. I've made a lot of really bad choices. Even I won't even say questionable. I've made some bad choices. And back in those days when I first started, I didn't know a lot because there weren't a lot of mentors, educators. There weren't a lot of people talking about this kind of stuff. There weren't people out there on the Facebook wasn't a thing. I didn't know there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, and going and looking at stuff and going, oh, that's what they're doing, that's what they're using. I should try that. So it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better, but I will say with that, we've also got the negative side of things where there's so many people that are now an educator. I got into it a while back with someone because of also lip neutralization. Someone was asking about a cool color on a dark melanin lip client. And I was like, no, you can't do that. They can't have that color. It's going to make them look dead. They need to do this color because what they were trying to get. And I was like, there are steps you need to go there. And I'm really careful now on what I will post in these groups. Like, I won't give a full service synopsis, as it were. I'm not going to say, well, this is what you use. Use this, this, and this, because I'm not there with that person. I'm not in the room with them, and I don't know what this person is using, what they're doing, and I don't want to give them advice and then them screw it up or make a bad choice and then come back and say, well, Texas said to do that. Texas said to do this. So if you'll notice in a lot of the groups I'm in, and even in my own group, I don't like to give a lot of advice about that stuff. I had someone recently call me and ask questions about laser, and I told her this straight up. I was like, hey, take my course. Because, I don't know what you're doing with your client right then and there. I don't, because they asked some questions and I was like, I was real frank about it. I was like, I just don't do that because I'm not I'm not in the clinic with you. That's not my patient. That's not my client. So I can't give you advice over the phone to use on that patient and then something go wrong and then it come back on me. And that's how I feel about a lot of these groups too, is that we've got to be very careful with how we are giving that advice and what we're doing for a lot of these newer artists. Because again, we've got a new huge influx of so many young new artists out there that are some of them are great and they're getting such good information, and then some of them are getting such bad information, and it's because they are listening to people that were taught 2 months ago that have not even seen their own work come back healed, and they're trying to tell someone how to do a color correction, how to do a color neutralization, how to do something that they've never done before, And so I wanted to talk about that today because I feel like it's something that has become sort of an epidemic because, again, guys, you all know I do laser removal. And guys, I do a lot of them. I've even had to remove my own brows that I've done myself on some people. So yes, I've done that, and I talk about that. But I see a lot of removals right now. And even my boss and I were talking not too long ago just about how even in the last probably 8 months of 2022, we have seen so many more people getting bad work, and it's not good. It's not good. It is not a good situation to be in, and I'm so sad for these people that are going into these situations because they're now having to get a new artist do this work, and then now they're getting botched or bad work done and then have to get removal, and then it's just this whole expensive thing. And I feel really bad for the client because the client's the one that's suffering, right? The artist is going to suffer too, because don't think that that person that got mangled brows or really bad lips or purple lips after you bruised them and did some crazy stuff, or blood overworked eyes and now they've got blowout eyes and they look like they've got running mascara all the way down their face. And I don't know if you saw that one. That one was a crazy one a while back. Man, I've never seen anything in my career this bad on this poor woman who got her brows and eyes done. It was in the Girls Inc. page, and Lord, that woman, bless her heart. She looked like a Halloween costume mask. It was horrible. and I wouldn't even know what to do. And this is me knowing removals very well. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that client. Like I was kind of shook. So yeah, so it happens, guys. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are questionable. We all do things that, we probably shouldn't have done. And I always tell people too, I am a little bit cavalier when it comes to my own work, even like some of the stuff that I do a lot of things off label because like especially with laser, because I know what I'm doing and I know the modality, I know the industry, I know what is going to happen. And if you don't know these things, and I always say this, you don't know what you don't know. That's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you are an ignorant person. It doesn't mean that you're not a good artist. It doesn't mean that you aren't good at what you do. It just means that you're not there yet and you need to learn more. You need to have more case studies. You need to do a little bit more work and get more information under your belt before you take on those clients. I can promise you that every single client that you turn away because you tell them I'm not ready for that is going to thank you down the line somewhere. Because if you just go ahead and take them and do it, and then it's a big mess, it's going to cost them so much more money, time, and then pain. Because removals aren't fun. They're not fun. Whether it's laser or saline or any other type of non-laser removal. Removals suck. They're not easy. They're not fun. And no client wants to go through that. No client wants to go through a removal situation. So again, you just want to be careful. And so I really wanted to pop on today and talk about this because I felt like it was something that needed to be said in the industry. We need to share this. Please share this video. It's a great time to be an artist. It's a great time to be in this industry because we have such better equipment. Guys, we have such better equipment. I mean, if you knew what we had to use back in the day, it was crazy, right? I feel like it was like a hammer and a stick, It's like, we just had crazy stuff. And now it's gotten so amazing. I mean, there are new machines, new pigments, new companies that are coming out with great products. So it's a lot easier to be an artist nowadays. But with that, there's been a lot of, like I said, this influx, and a lot of these newer artists are getting a little bold and brave because they've done two brows and they feel like, oh, I did those two brows and they healed great. I can do removals. I can do corrections. I saw that YouTube video. I saw Texas do that neutralization on his Instagram, that 30-second reel, and so people are getting a little bit kind of bold and they're not earning it is what I'm saying. They're not getting the work in to do this. Guys, I have case studies for everything I do, and I do them even when and it's funny. I was watching a video today in my group actually. Mary Hall Scott was talking about how she always tests out her machines before she puts them on her website to sell, and she was testing out the Bellar Air, and and that's what I do. I test everything out. So when I don't just go try a new line of pigment and then just have, my clients, I always test it out first. I want to make sure what's going on when I try something out, whether it be a new set of needles, a new machine. I always get models for those things because I want to see what it looks like. I want to get in and feel it and know that I love what it is. And I've tried some things, guys, and hated them. And then I've tried some things and really loved them. And I think it's important to do that. And I don't see a lot of people doing that anymore. I don't see a lot of people doing case studies. I don't see people saying, I'm going to try Brow Daddy's line out. And I just see them getting it and then buying it and not really knowing anything about it and then just using it. And I feel like that's a little scary, because again, the only people that are really suffering from all this stuff is the client, because they're paying you X amount of dollars for this treatment, and then you are giving them a treatment that you don't even know how it's going to react. So I told my boss this today, because she even said, she was like, oh, that's kind of, you told her, it could have sounded rude. And I was like, it may have, but it's truth, and I'm not trying to be rude at all, but I'm just saying, hey, if you have to ask the question, you don't know the answer, then you don't need to do it. It'd be like a doctor going in, and you go to the doctor and if you found out your doctor before you did your surgery, that they were on some group going, what would you do here? What would you do here? Okay, I'll do what he says. I'll pick number 2. Would that make sense? Would you feel comfortable going to that person if you found that out? Absolutely not. No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want someone to, be working on my face, especially, with some sort of 5 minute, cliff notes to figure out how to fix it or to do it. So again, I just think it's super important that we be really smart in these groups and we talk about these things and we talk about this stuff because again, I want to talk about these things because they're not comfortable. It's not comfortable to talk about this stuff and nobody wants to be told that they did a bad job. No one wants to be told that what they're doing on social media is not right. But giving someone advice and doing this stuff, but it is true. It is true though. We are going through a time where we have got a lot of new artists, a lot of people out there with so much information, and some of it's really good, and then some of it's really, really bad. And the really bad stuff seems to be really, really bad. And again, a lot of it's coming from people that are brand new too in the industry. Like going back to what I said, I got into it with this lady about that, the lip neutralization and her wanting a cool color, and this other person gets on and makes this huge fuss and says that I'm the reason why the industry is lacking and da 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 and this and that, whatever. And come to find out, she hadn't even taken a lip blushing course yet. So she was talking to me like she was an expert. Mind you, I am really damn good at what I do, guys. If you've seen me know neutralization, I'm really good at it. And I know it's hard. It's not easy. It is not easy, and it's never a guarantee that it's going to go the way you think it is. I can promise you it's not. Even when you know something, skin is skin. It sometimes changes on you. And so you have to know how to pivot and make things better. And this woman had never taken a lip blushing course before. And so she was telling me how to do a lip neutralization. So that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with, guys. And so that's where I wanted to pop on today and talk about that because I think it's something that we need to be really, really careful about and just be smart and not giving away this advice all the time to these new artists because again, they're looking up to us and they're looking up to all of the veterans in the industry and the leaders in the industry and we're not doing that. We're not giving them all the things. Now, granted, when someone pops on and wants to know a color of something, what color would you use in this client? Yes, do that. That's fine. It's just getting maybe a solidifying a thought in their mind that okay, maybe I was going to use oak or maybe I was going to use Jen Boyd's Midnight Sun or whatever, and then when they get that kind of validation, that's fine, guys. But when you're telling someone how to do something and that person hasn't even taken a course for it and you yourself haven't even taken a course for it, that's where I have a problem. That's where I get into my soapbox or get on my soapbox and I start talking about this because again, I want to educate the community as it were, but I also want people to understand that sometimes you are hurting the community. And again, these clients that come to us for help and then they get worse, And so anyways, I just wanted to pop on today and talk about that. So yeah, that's how I feel about things. I know that it's not going to be everyone's favorite thing, and there are going to probably be people that will be like, that's rude or this or that or whatever. And I'm not trying to be. I'm absolutely not. I 100% respect everyone's goals and wishes in life. I want you all to do well, but I also want people to know that when you ask a question, you're going to get the answers sometimes that maybe you're not wanting to hear. And that's okay, because I can promise you, when I was told that in my early years, doing many things, I've done many things in my career, and when I was told, hey, dude, I would watch this and figure this out before you go into this realm and do this kind of thing, I listened because I knew to trust the people that were before me and ahead of me and doing things that were amazing. And so I listened to them. And so I want people to get help and I want people to get information, but I also want people to understand that you just give all this information out to people, there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. And then again, it comes down to, again, the client's the only one that's really dealing with that because then they've now got a bad situation on their face. And again, they just can't wash it off. It's not makeup. So that's how I feel. So if you have any comments about this stuff here, please leave them down below. It is what it is, guys. I'm here to help. I've always said that. I will always give good advice. I will always give you straight answers. I will always give you what I think is going to serve you best and serve your business best, because let's be real, this is a business and we got to make sure that, you stay in business. I just saw a devastating post today in one of the groups this lady said she was closing up shop because she couldn't keep enough clients in and things. And man, that is such a sad day for someone when they have to do that. And I don't want that for anyone. But guys, I can tell you, when you mess something up really badly, especially if you're a new artist, it can set a tone for you and your business that can literally tank you. We are in a time in the world where everything is so readily available. Yelp, Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of this stuff. You can be canceled before you even started if you make a really bad decision, meaning you took someone's advice and you know what, I started doing brows 3 months ago, but I'm going to go ahead and do that color correction today because I'm ready. But I didn't take a course, didn't talk to anybody, didn't talk to my instructor. I got two people from a group to give me advice. That's when you're going to have problems. And if you do things incorrectly and that patient has to suffer, I can promise you it will tank your business sometimes before you even started. And then you are going to be closing shop. And that's something we just don't want. We don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. I want everything to be great here in your world. And I'm always here to give solid advice. So that's how I roll. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for being subscribers to my channel. I'm just so thrilled to have all of you guys here. I am putting out new videos every week, and I am adding the podcast pretty soon. I'm very excited about that. So that will be where I actually have guests on, and we'll be talking all things Texas that I think Texas shares. That's my podcast. It's all things that I think are fascinating and interesting in the world. And I'm going to have some really cool guests on the show. And that will be on this channel, on the YouTube channel as well. So stay tuned for that. Remember that if you are in Cosmetic Tattoo Professionals, it'll have CTP on all the videos that I think will pertain to you guys in the cosmetic tattooing world. If you're not in my group on Facebook, please join it. You can also follow our Instagram. We have an Instagram, and so please, we'd love for you to follow that too. We'll be starting to post more on that as well. I've just been super busy, but I've been focusing mainly on the Facebook group, but Instagram, I am also going to be posting more in that too as well. Again, if you have any questions about things, please leave them down in the comments below. Again, follow us on Instagram, Cosmetic Tattoo Professionals. You can follow me on Instagram, Tex Della Rosa. Again, the YouTube channel, Texas Della Rosa, and my school is Beauty Cosmetic Institute, so follow that. And then if you want to see all the other laser and all the other crazy stuff that I do in my career, you can go to Glow Laser and Beauty. And then, of course, well, again, welcome to any new listeners. So yes, I will see you guys at the next video. Have a wonderful day. And again, this is right after Christmas. So I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, everybody. I hope you got all the things you wanted. And we'll get the next video out right before New Year's Eve. So yeah, there we go. All right, guys. All right, have a good one, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.